Thank you. Teaching the Pathfinder and Adventurer curriculum, it's the first time in my life that I'm doing something like this, which is a combination of the two. As far as possible, Pathfinders and Adventurers should be kept separate. They should almost never be put into the same category. But for the purposes of tonight and teaching the curriculum, there's a lot of things that they have in common. So by the grace of God, we're going to do it. Next slide, please. Thank you. All right. Session outline, objectives. The objectives of teaching the Pathfinder and Adventurer curriculum is to discover the importance and the value of creative and easier approaches to teaching and developing one's own creative styles of teaching. So us as the teachers, it's for us to discover and to develop easier ways of teaching styles, to provide information on ways to teach the curriculum in a creative way. Next slide. What is the curriculum designed to accomplish? And I'm quoting from page, I think it's page 101, section C of our Pathfinder training manual. Yes. It is designed by the church to support parents. Take note of the word parents in assisting children with the challenging task of developing fully as followers of Christ in today's world. Second one, the program aims to strengthen the parent and child relationship and to further the child's development in spiritual, physical, mental, and social areas. So what the curriculum does, or what it is designed to do, is to develop the child holistically, as well as us assisting the parents, not us babysitting for the parents. We just need to be a little bit cautious on that one when we come to CPCs and clubs in schools. Next slide, please. What are the children expected to gain from this requirement? And what is the best way that I can help them get there? Remember that. What are the children expected to gain? And what is the best way that me as a counselor, me as a director, what is the best way for me to help them get there? Next slide. There's a broad overview of the Pathfinder curriculum. It's rather vague. There's not enough flesh and there's not enough content. So what I normally do with this is I make a day of teaching the curriculum only. Next slide, please. Overview of the adventurer curriculum. It's almost the same as the overview of the Pathfinder curriculum. It's just a little bit more simplified. Next slide. The critical components. We're one slide too far. Okay, the critical components. Critical components of the curriculum for both adventurers is divided. Adventurers is only five different sections, which is basic, same as the Pathfinders, my God, myself, my family, and my world. The Pathfinders, you will notice, is a whole lot more involved. It's basic, and then it's spiritual growth and discovery, serving others and making friends, health and fitness, nature study, outdoor living, enrichment, honor. Next slide, please. Okay, I've passed. I'm done with critical components. Can we move to the next one? All right. On this one, it talks about self-development. For adventurers, the previous slide would say myself. That is developing yourself physically, mentally, spiritually, and socially. Leaders, it's important for us to look after our mental health. It's important for us to look after our children's mental health. And I'm saying this here and now because as we go through the curriculum and the styles of teaching the curriculum, you better understand why I say put special focus on mental health. A mental mind and a healthy mind carries a healthy body. All right. Next slide, please. In the basic track or in the basic section of the curriculum, it's standard stuff like your pledge, your law, your aim, your motto. Be careful with the aim when you're teaching CPCs. The Advent message, their Advent message is not ours yet. So be a little bit careful on how you teach these things to your CPCs and your schools clubs. And then you have your Pathfinder song, the history of the Pathfinder Club is very important because some children may be not Adventists and coming and having an interest, and they want to know what this is, why is it different to Scouts, where did it all start? So your history goes in there. Next slide, please. All right, I said your basic includes your song, your history, your insignia, very important. They need to know and understand the insignia that they wear. And if we teach it to them correctly, we would find less children coming to club with their badges upside down. So it is vital for us to start with the very basics from ground roots. They must know and understand the meaning of every badge, of every emblem that they wear on their uniform, so that the whole ministry can make sense to them. Execution ideas, you can read through that. I'm sure this presentation will be circulated. In your time, you can read through execution ideas for teaching the basics of the curriculum. Next slide, please. All right. So when teaching the curriculum, we need to bear in mind that everybody doesn't learn the same way. There are 4 different styles of learning: auditory, visual. You will notice I underlined visual. I put visual in red because most of our children today are used to screen time. The majority of them learn by seeing. Then there's the kinesthetic, which is 28%, second in line, and then only 22% would learn very well from verbal, reading, and writing. In the corner there, I put Adventist possibilities for the simple reason that when you prepare any of your lessons, you need to bear in mind that we may have children with special needs. I don't like to refer to them as disabled. I prefer calling them differently able. And you'll find a lot of them in the CPCs. Some of them are mentally impaired, some of them are physically impaired. So when we prepare, we need to bear them also in mind and cater to their needs as well. Each child learns differently. Discover how Pathfinders and Adventurers learn best, and you will discover the best way to keep their attention. All right. The best way to keep your child's attention is really by being enthusiastic. If we come to club and we're lethargic and we're tired, I'm so tired today, just go and color your books, and we don't show any interest, there's no way we're going to keep their attention. You must also remember the average attention span of a person is 7 minutes. Then your mind starts to wander, and then you come back again. So bear that in mind when you prepare your teaching of their classwork. Next slide, please. All right. We need to understand and know the modes of learning so that we can understand how to teach the different styles. The pathways of learning from each of the senses of the brain are called modes. And we have 4 different modes of learning, which was in the previous slide. And we're going to go back to the 4 modes on the next slide, please. There again is your 4 modes of learning: experimental, auditory, kinesthetic, and visual. I read it anti-clockwise because everybody else was reading it clockwise. So sometimes some people think with the left brain, some people think with the right brain. Okay, more of that we're going to have when we do CMT and education, right? Can we move on? Okay, this is the main style of learning for Pathfinders and Adventurers. Arts and crafts, where they use their hands, they're cutting, they're using their whole body. It's holistic activities that they become engaged in. I'm on the next slide, please. All right. So they use their entire bodies, the head and the eyes and the mind and the fingers and the legs, everything works together. Especially when it comes to, for the bigger ones, your helping hands and your friends. Point number 4 there, provide creative writing projects such as stories, poems, and news headlines, news stories. Some of the adventurer classes, not some of the adventurer classes. The Boulder class has a media producer award. So whatever we do in this ministry, people, please remember it is Bible-based. Nothing that we do is not Bible-based. Awards, honors, teaching the curriculum, everything is Bible-based. Next slide, please. Plan multi-sessionary active learning for all 4 modes. Now you say, that's hard. Unfortunately, it's our work. We need to put in extra planning for all 4 modes. No child should be left behind because they're not capable of keeping up with our style of teaching, and with our style of teaching the rest of the class. Now, I want to give an example quickly, glancing at the amount of people in the audience. I'm using this example. I was teaching at the last East Rand District camporee. And in the corner was this one little boy sitting and drawing. So I walk around and I saw he's drawing poppies, and I gave the others some practical work to do. I called him aside. I said, do you like drawing? He said, yes, ma'am. I said, okay, while ma'am is talking, draw for ma'am. That child drew me the entire first aid, basic and standard honors that I taught at that camp. So I could have just said, he's sitting and drawing poppies. I'm not paying attention to him. That's just an example of how inclusive we should be of every single child. Next slide, please. Okay, Pathfinders and Adventurers, I know you also have your books. For Pathfinders on personal development, in the category of personal development, we have these good books, The Happy Path and Finding the Right Path. These books are suggested by the General Conference because it can be as a group reading. It's good to use it as a group reading, especially on Sabbath afternoons and Sundays, because it's a requirement for each class to read a certain book and to read certain stories. It's throughout the curriculum. So start them off, especially. I would really encourage those who run CPCs to get Finding the Right Path and use it for your club. For your club readings, it can even form part of your devotions. Next slide, please. That's just an example of serving others and making friends, which are requirements in both Adventurer and Pathfinder. You can read that slide in your time. Can we move to the next slide, please? How can we help children learn what they need to know? And most important, how can we make this fun? We need to understand that for a child's work is to play. Our work is to work, a child's work is to play. Therefore, everything we do, whether we're strict or not, we have to make it fun. It must be fun for them, and it must be ultra enjoyable to the point that they want to come back and they want to stay. Next slide, please. All right. Now we're moving to the real teaching of the curriculum section. Purpose and values of creativity activities. We need to understand creativity. Later on, towards the end of my presentation, I will remind you and give you a review of what you've already learned about being creative. Okay. We need to make their learning enjoyable, lasting, and meaningful. Why lasting and meaningful? Because they need to start living it. We must provide them opportunities to express themselves and to develop and their development of creativity. Give satisfaction in accomplishment and build self-confidence. So give praise where a child must be praised. Be generous. Be generous with your praise. And also, it contributes to the development of proper self-concept. Through this curriculum, we identify talents in a child and we develop it in a way for them to be more confident about themselves and they become better citizens. Next slide, please. A little bit more about understanding creativity. Tell me and I'll forget. Show me and I may remember. Involve me and I'll understand. What I see, I forget. What I hear, I forget. But what I do, I remember. Some of us today can still talk about at that camporee in Alawa North, we did this and that and that and that. The things we do, we understand better. So get your children involved. It's called, and that's another lecture for another day, it's called active learning. Get them involved in active learning. Let them be a part. If you're going to be a sit, sing, listen, and leave kind of teacher, the child is going to lose interest. They're going to lag behind. You're going to struggle to where we were on slide 3, getting them where they need to be. Next slide, please. A bit more of understanding creativity. There's a whole lot more benefits. Number 2, it deepens a child's need for individual expression. I can't express that more. Relieves periods of physical restlessness with meaningful activity, coordination of mind and muscle. I did touch on that. We can move to the next slide. Okay. Creativity helps the child respect the property of others, teaches cooperation, sharing, and taking turns. It emphasizes a Bible concept or illustrated truth. It provides opportunity for the child to express him or her relationship with God and a response to Bible teachings. When it comes to Bible teachings, we need to be very subtle. Adventist children hear too much preaching. For those of us who do not have children's church, if they're lucky, they may have a story. Other than that, it's big church, and big church. And we need to channel ways for them to enjoy religion, to enjoy Bible teachings. So even Bible teachings must be made fun for them. Next slide, please. Steps in a creative process. Preparation is your orientation. Frustration, when you lose orientation to creativity, sorry about that, work is lost. Achievement, creative work is a success. Verification, develop a critical attitude towards the work. Evaluation, reflect and repeat the process. Reflect and repeat the process. When we say reflect and repeat the process, we are now talking and leaning towards the progressive classwork in depth. There's 5 P's there. And Pastor Rambau is going to say I'm teaching pure maths when I teach these 5 P's. The 5 P's I use in this ministry is proper planning prevents poor performance. So if your preparation is right, everything else is going to fall in line. And I keep saying nothing in this ministry stands alone. When you get to programming and planning, you'll hear more about how prepared you must be. Last week, we also heard about how organized we need to be. So when we teach the curriculum, those are one of the crucial points that we must remember. Next slide, please. Creativity tools, it's simple, it's easy. Computer programs, storytelling, brainstorming, listening, sculpting, objects. You can use whatever you want. We're into robotics these years. There's a whole lot of tools that you can use. You need to think out of the box and be more practical. Use props, invest in the ministry. Use props, use whatever it's going to take for your children to all learn. Next slide, please. Learning takes place when it is time for, not if it is time for. With children, learning only takes place when, one, it is fun. The child has been accepted and the child is understood. You recognize their creativity, imagination, and creativity. Let the child be creative on a certain topic. Let them use their imagination. Effective communication, the way we talk to our children. Sometimes we talk to them in a manner that tells them, I don't like you. All right? So effective communication is important. Fairness and justice. All children are fair. All of us are equal, and we need to treat them justly. Don't have favorites in your club. Involve everyone, total involvement. Constant assessment. Okay, you didn't do so well this time. Let's try again. And then do a reassessment and see how they do. Cooperation. People, activity, and time frame. You're going to reach your cooperation if you involve capable people, if your activities are properly planned, and you meet the time frames you have set for your assessment or whatever your next step is going to be in teaching the curriculum. Next slide. Okay. Teaching methods. Right. Where are we? Teaching methods. Study the class curriculum, content, knowledge. Leaders, please, please, please. You cannot teach something that you have not studied. You need to know the content. You need to know exactly what the requirements are for those classes that you're teaching. Try to teach one class at a time and move with that class. Assess the number of children in your class. Assess the needs of your class. learning abilities, attitudes, and methods. Work out a teaching plan. You can Google. You can work out a teaching plan. How long? I have 5 children. One of them is differently able. How long is it going to take me to let them read the book of John? Okay, if you understand what I'm saying, but work out a teaching plan. Availability of resources, we are not limited. All right, we have plenty resources. When it comes to resources, the Seventh-day Adventist Church is not limited. Evaluation method on completion. I did talk about that. Assess and evaluate. Next slide, please. Schools, classes in schools. I'm not sure how many, but for the sake of the presentation, Pathfinder classes can be incorporated into the school calendar. We need to make our parents aware that if your child is enrolled in this Pathfinder or Adventurer program, they have an added benefit at school. In grade 9, the life orientation, one of the requirements for life orientation is to visit an institution like CHOC or an old age home or some non-profit, non-charitable organization. All right. So at that age, if the child is in the right class for its age, the same like our curriculum, it's age specific. So then your child has an added benefit because they do their ADRA honors, they do all of these outreach works when they get to their explorer stroke ranger class. It covers that section in that age group. Helps to meet emergencies. People, when we teach these classes, please do not differentiate. I'm saying this with very humbly and with a lot of respect, but I see master guides, females specifically, they don't know A or B from pitching a tent. Boys need to be taught how to cook. They need to be taught how to clean. Cross-gender teaching is important for today's child. In the same way, girls need to know how to change the tire of a car when it goes flat. Girls need to know how to do plumbing and how to do electrical stuff. There's no, that's a man's thing and this is a girl's thing. When we get into emergency situations, there's going to be no gender division. So please let us treat our boys and girls equally. I'm not sure why and how it is that our female counselors and our female directors don't touch tents. They only go in and enjoy sleeping in it. But take note of that. It promotes a sense of equality. And for the girls, it gives them a good feeling to know that I can get by. Not I have to do everything, but I can get by. And for the boys, they also, it's likewise, I can get by. Equip children for everyday duties, boys and girls. Promote physical, spiritual, and mental growth. We've done that. Give satisfaction once an award or an honor is earned. It must be earned. Someone can't write for someone else and present that book and they get a pin. That's teaching our children to be dishonest. Patient as it is, we take our time, we teach our children thoroughly, we teach them honestly, and they wear their insignia with pride because they have earned it. Next slide, please. Okay, skip that one. That we're gonna do at another time. Categories of honors, you can skip that one too. Skip that slide. Skip the next one. Teaching tasks. This you can take home, and it's just a practical thing that you can do at your local church. Next slide, please. Achievement class time. Last week, when we had how to start up a club, this was part and parcel of what's contained in the curriculum. So, we're not nagging you. Our work is not repetitive. These things pop up every time because it's crucial, because it gives you a base and it gives you an idea on how to manage your time effectively. Your opening ceremony could include a chapter or passage read from the Happy Path or Finding the Happy Path. And then you have this is an more or less an idea of a Sabbath afternoon classwork program. Next slide, please. And there you have another example which you can add or subtract to the one which you got from our presenter last week, but you will notice underline classwork not less than 30 minutes, hobbies and crafts 40 minutes. Next slide, please. We can skip that one. Next slide. No, you're too far. Go back. Go back. Skip that one. Okay. Go forward. Is that where? Okay. All right. Let me just hold there. All right. Where do we want these children to go to? The ultimate idea of teaching the curriculum is for them to get to investiture. When they get to their investiture stage, and then we're happy, we have now accomplished what we want to. How do we get them to investiture? The church, like I said, has enough resources to get them investiture ready. Getting a child investiture ready, I'm not sure. Okay. We have resources, as I've said. I have one slide that I don't see in the presentation here. But for every class level, your friend you have an instructor's help. From friend to guide, you have instructor's help. Over and above the workbook, from little lamb to helping hand, there's a leader's guide. That is why I said the Adventist Church is not short of material. We're not short of equipment. We have enough. And then we have our cards where we monitor the child's progress. So we can quite comfortably teach our children because we have resources in abundance. This is the one ministry that has resources in abundance. All right. When a child gets to investiture, and I want to appeal to us as counselors and leaders, and especially to our master guides. Investiture is where you pin them and they get their chevron for that class only. And if they have completed their excellence, their advanced honors, then they get an advanced bar for that class. Now, what I see, and when I teach, I pick up that sadly, I don't know, am I audible? Am I audible? Can you see me?
Yes, you're audible. We can see you.
Okay. Master guides, when I teach you, I pick up that a lot of you are invested and you wear this. You wear a combined chevron when you haven't taught any single class. Please be careful what you wear and what you demonstrate to our children. The same with us and the same with us. Right? We wear these things when we have not earned them. I like to encourage master guides in training to work with the children, class for class. As you work with them, you get your pin, because for every class that you do, you get invested and you're given a pin. So if you start with a friend class, next year take them through to companion, the following year take them through to explorer, and climb the ladder with them. The same with the adventurers. Because now you've built a relationship with a child, you've built a relationship with a parent. It's good for you and it's good for the child as well. So please, people, you know, sometimes they take us and they throw us in the deep end. And then we don't know whether we're coming or we're going because we've never seen this book. We don't know where to start with this thing. And then we look like, where did you get that master guide? So be careful what you wear. Be careful what you put on your uniforms. Our children are watching us. Please, may I have the slide before this one? All right. Now you're wondering, why is she ending teaching the curriculum with the 12 requirements in the leadership training topic? The reason why is because I'm reminding you, and I said I will remind you, that we need to take cognizance that nothing in this ministry is a standalone. It all blends in together. Now, when I read these to you, I know you did it when you did your leadership training. It's just a reminder to see how it fits into everything that I said this week and everything that General had said last week. So number one of your leadership skills requirements is live a Christ-centered life or love God supremely. Everything in this curriculum is Bible-based. If you don't have a relationship with God, if you're not a spiritual person, you cannot raise spiritual children. So we need to love God supremely. We need to love children sincerely, deeply love them unconditionally. Yes, sometimes they're naughty, sometimes they're rude, but we are admonished to love them sincerely. You can get many, many quotes from child guidance, counsels to teachers and parents, Adventist home, Spirit of Prophecy school. It can't be exhausted. Be optimistic and enthusiastic. Please, men, people, men. When I see some of you in those suits, I've arrived. It's my PhD. I can now sit back. You cannot sit back. Sometimes I go with a mindset that today I'm visiting there because I said I'm coming to support. When I get there, I don't sit. You called on to do duty all the time. So you need to be energetic. You need to keep up with the children. You need to have enough energy. Now, be optimistic. How are you going to be enthusiastic if you're lethargic? Your mental health, your physical health, care for my body. Am I making sense? I hope I'm bringing it together. Be a master of your emotions. When one child makes you angry, don't take it out on the rest of the class. If your husband made you angry at home, don't bring it to the club. Leave it at home. Come to club and love these children and teach them what God has ordered us to do. Enjoy the out of doors. A whole lot of that is contained in teaching honors, which is another workshop of its own. Understand the characteristics of the junior youth. We need to know them, we need to understand them, and we have to be ahead of them. When they talk about an occupy, we think we're together, but we're way out of fashion. They're already there at Len, the new thing that they smoke, which is called Len. We need to stay abreast so that we can guide them in the right channels. Master diversified skills. Be resourceful, be creative. You must master diversified skills. We cannot put a cake decorating honor with a star that says advanced cake decorating if you don't know how to mix icing sugar. That's why I said, go and learn all of these things. And when I say master a diversity of skills, I want to pause there and just encourage those master guides who graduated under the Adventurer curriculum. Take a glance at the Pathfinder curriculum so that you can have an understanding of what is happening there. Don't limit yourself. And those who have graduated in the Pathfinder curriculum, take a glance at the Adventurer curriculum. Don't limit yourself. Broaden your ways and open yourself up to a broader view of the entire ministry so that you can fit in. Number 8, know how to organize. We had a thing there that said preparation, how to prepare, how to organize, and how to organize properly. Maintain pleasant relations with fellow workers. I can't preach. This one, I'm not going to preach. It doesn't matter who the leader is. You have no right to boycott what has been organized at district level, at your zone, at wherever, because you don't like the leader. And then you punish the children because you have differences with the person. God doesn't want us to work like that. Our children need the best of this ministry, and it's our God-given right to give it to them. Have a commanding personality. A commanding personality is not shouting at children, not screaming at them, but be firm. You need to be firm, but also be gentle. If you say to them, fall in, they know that look on that face is now serious, I must now fall in. Have a sense of humor. It is crucial to have a sense of humor. These kids do all sorts of things with you. If you've disciplined them Saturday night, if you think you're going to fall in for parade on a Sunday morning, you'll find toothpaste in your shoes. You can't be angry. Just laugh it off and say, tomorrow's another day, I'll get you. Be resourceful and creative. Invest in the ministry. Find ways to be creative. And the adventurer curriculum is big on this. Be resourceful. Think what you can use. All churches are not equally well-funded. Some of us have to use recycled materials, and we make the best crafts from them, and we sell them at a premier price, and no one knows we picked them up in the street. So be resourceful and creative, and then please keep our children safe. Make their surroundings safe. Resourceful and creative, make their surroundings safe. If there's welders at church, get them to put extra security bars. They're going to feel good. The kids are going to feel safe. These days, it's only leaders, female leaders and children. That's another sermon for another day. On a Sunday morning in our churches, we only find females and the children. There's no male presence. If there's a breach in the security, we're at risk. Use the people in the church, use their abilities, and make them feel good. Next slide, please. Number 13, no, the one before that. Okay. Number 13 of your leadership skills is enlist cooperation. I think I have covered all of those in the previous slide. Okay. Next slide. Any comments, observations? I know there's probably a lot of questions. Mfundis, it's silent night.
If there's anyone with a question, please raise your hand. This is the time. Or any comments, any contribution, this is the time. I see a hand there. Please unmute and ask your question, Mudiwa, or say what you have there.
Yeah, good evening, leaders. It's not a question as such, but I was kindly requesting, can we kindly have this? I mean, slides in boxes inboxed into our inbox, be it email or what. It's a resourceful thing. I don't know if I am audible.
Yes, you're audible.
Okay, that was my request only. These slides, they are very important. Would you please inbox them onto us so that we can even keep them, so that whenever we run out of anything, we can quickly run to those slides.
Noted. Through your federation presidents, they'll be shared. So if you don't have it, please ask your federation president. Thank you.
Sivo,
Can
can I just say something? Can I just
Okay.
come in? There's something that I want to say from what the brother is asking here. I think I've been getting messages from various leaders asking about whatever, when like we have been doing presentation, I think for this whole month of February. Some people, they ask about the presentations and presentations and presentations. I just want to say to everyone who is here, after every presentations that are done, please make it to a point that you approach your federation president and ask for those PowerPoints or whatever that are being sent. Don't sit and wait, because probably maybe your federation president has forgotten to send to the groups, or maybe your phone is acting up or anything. So some of the things, we don't need to wait for presidents to give us information. You need to go to your president, bother your presidents, ask them, there was this presentation that was done 2 weeks ago. I did not get a chance to get it. Please, can I have that? Because some of the people that were sending me messages, I could tell, Uguti, they are not connected to their presidents. So I'm encouraging everyone who is here, make it a point that you also push them to give you what you want. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you, Mtandazo. We have the hand for T&N Dembo. Thereafter, Pepela P and Rich More. And then Tafez, in that order.
Thank you very much, my sister. Good evening and happy Sabbath.
Good evening. Thank you.
Thank you. My question is just on Sister Amelia there. There was this PowerPoint slide which was talking about the 5 Ps. I think I missed the 5 Ps actually. So is it possible that she can quickly repeat the 5 Ps? Thank you.
Proper planning prevents poor performance. When you get to club organization and programming, you need to keep that in mind. Proper planning prevents poor performance.
Thank you so much. We follow the order. Pepela P and Rich More.
Thank you so much, Happy Sabbath. I just want to say thank you to Sister Emilia for the presentation, which is so clear. I just want to comment on the part of the teachers to be prepared. I like your point when you say you cannot teach things that you don't have. Most of our teachers and qualified master guide, they just say, I have 5 years experience teaching this, so there's no need for me to have the file or something else, which is important to be resourceful. I like that point. And also, I just want to add on to say in the issue of honors, it's very, very embarrassing. You see someone just wearing on the uniform, you get surprised, where does she did, or where that did that honor. So I just want to say thank you. At least people, as we are attending, we are learning a lot. Thank you so much for the presentation.
Thank you so much, Pepelapi Tafez.
Thank you very much. I think we welcome the presentation as made. I don't have a question, but just a comment as a way of encouragement. I think we are coming from a background of the COVID environment.
Yeah, sure.
Somebody is disrupted. Thank you. Can I continue?
Yes, you can continue.
I'm sorry for that. I was saying we are coming from a environment where we are actually disrupted by COVID. And from that, most of the churches, there was a decline in terms of the curriculum or the Pathfinder and Adventurer regarding the classes itself. But having done that, most of the church did not come back well and active as expected. But we thank God that some churches stood up, and this is the issue of curriculum is continuing in most of the churches. But some, they really died dismally so. So my encouragement is that for those churches that managed to stand up and continue in order to ensure that we develop young people in our churches, because the more there is no Pathfinder and Adventurer in churches, the church slowly dies. It's the situation that we have observed. So I'm trying to say that for those who manage, let's just try to check within the district where you are or the local churches and help those who do not have. But the problem that I've also realized that those who manage to get master guide now, you in one of the slides you have indicated that people become pompous, and disregard those people who were part in the previous because their churches are not participating. So let us try to ensure that having received master guide, having gone through and succeeded, let us not just overlook and praise ourselves with epithets because we have gone through, but let us ensure that how do we continue to help other people to move with this particular situation. So that is the encouragement that I just wanted to make, because some of the comments that you find for those who have just graduated, they discourage people who have been there for a long time, but because there is no activism in their local churches. So that is what I wanted to comment about. Thank you very much. And I believe that we'll enjoy the Sabbath.
Thank you. We have the hand of Georgina Kekana.
I just want to. Am I audible? I just want to find out regarding the assessment or on the assessment, where assessment is done by the senior people. I've realized this thing that children get scared when they are no longer being taught by the teachers that they know. Because when assessment is done by the superior of their teacher, the children don't listen anymore. More especially those who are learning very slow, they've got a problem. Is there no way that teachers can be, maybe all the assessment teachers can be assisting each other as teachers of the children, instead of having the head office doing it for them, like maybe the counselors or the coordinators. Thank you.
We have lost you. I don't know whether it's only me, but
The teacher, the school, and the community based organization. We are trying.
can you hear her? Or am I the only one?
No, we've lost.
We're all in the community. And our training is ongoing on wonder technology. It's free. It's
Did you hear me?
contact 1000.
Was I audible, ma'am?
No,
Yeah,
we
so
lost you.
somehow you disappeared. You started
Okay.
when you started your
Sorry.
audible, but gradually
Okay.
you
Sorry, I was
disappeared.
talking about
Please mute your other devices. I see you've got so many devices and there is echo because of that.
The principals actually do not respond to the parents' reports. But we know and we
Hello, Georgina. Hello. Are you still?
She is far away from the
No,
gadget. I think she must come closer.
She has got a number of devices and hence the echo.
deactivated something. I mute. Hello,
Yes, you can talk now.
you can hear me now.
Yes, don't move away from your device.
I was saying,
You are going again.
when we ask these young ones, they get scared when they are assessed by the teacher that they are not used to. Like when the counselors or the federation is the one that is assessing their teachers. Is there no way that can change the concept that assessment that the children are using?
We've lost her again.
Yeah. I see Mom Cynthia's hand. Do you want to assist Mom Cynthia on what she was asking? Because I think I just picked a little bit of what she's trying to say.
Yes,
Yes, Mom Cynthia.
I want to assist. I hope I've catch correctly. My understanding is that after assessors training with this new curriculum, the assessors don't ask questions. The counselors
Yes.
are the one who ask questions because they know the kids. So if you say the kids get scared, now I'm worried, Guti, in other districts, what are you doing? Because with this curriculum, assessors don't ask questions. We are just there to observe as the counselor is asking questions so that kids don't get scared, they don't get afraid. So if you've got such a situation, then you have a federation to the president, then something is not right because counselors are the one who's supposed to ask questions because we are running away for such things that kids get scared when they come as if the assessors are police people. So we are running away from that thing. So assessors, they don't ask questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mom Cynthia.
Thank you.
I don't know if you have anything to say, Amelia.
If there's no more questions, wow, 1.5 hours.
Yes.
If there's no more questions, I would just like to encourage the district leaders and the federation, if possible and where possible. This curriculum, what I did tonight was just an introduction. I have set it up in one district, one region, as a workshop for a full Sunday. And you have different presenters, like, can we go back to the slide of critical components, please? There, no, further. Some more, some more, some more, more. No, okay, okay, yes. The slide before that. There we go. There we go. That one. Thank you. All right. Critical components of the curriculum. It can be a full day workshop where you get for your adventurers, you have 5 different presenters present on each topic, where you go in depth, you go class for class, and you go track for track. The same with Pathfinders, you're going to have your 9 different presenters, specialists, preferably if you do have, if you can, to present on each of these tracks or each of these subjects, and make a day-long workshop of it, because it's very interesting. It's in depth. It's looking at each class, the requirements in each section. How do we get there? What helps us get there? And stuff like that. So I would encourage you to go back as Federation presidents and do some work, do some further work on how to reignite your clubs, starting with a curriculum, because if there's no curriculum, we're going to teach children honors, and that's going to be the sum total of it. So yeah, that's my advice. I would like to thank the conference for entrusting me with this presentation. I am humbled, and if there's any need or any other further questions, please be free to ask. Thank you so much. God bless.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Maybe before you go, I see there's a question that I missed. Actually, there are 2. One says, can a counselor be invested with their class only with an instructor's guide, or they need to have a workbook and also complete it along with their class?
Please do the workbook with the class. You have an added advantage over the child because you have your, can you see what I'm holding up?
Yes, visible.
There's your instructor's guide, and there's your leader guide, your instructor guide for Pathfinder. There's your leader guide for friend, for adventurer. So please do it with your class. You get invested with those children. Those children, they know, okay, my counselor is honest. She's not wearing pins, or he's not wearing pins that he hasn't earned. We're in this together, because you in this together with the children. All right. And the lady that was complaining so terribly about children being interrogated, you have these things. If you, as the teacher of that class, as the counselor, if you teach and you tick off and you mark, honestly, there shouldn't be any hassles when the assessors come and visit your class.
Thank you for that. And then the other one, I don't know whether you'll take it or the pastor will take it. It says, which activity book are we using? Can we be assisted with the activities, with the activity book? Mfundisi, this one is for you.
Good evening, everyone. For the adventurer, we are using the GC curriculum, And then for the Pathfinders, we are using the NAD curriculum. So those are the two curriculums that we are using since the previous term, 2019 or 2020. And so those are the two curriculum we're using. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So for those who were asking, if you buy your books from the office, those are the books that you are going to get. And I also know that normally in the beginning of the year, the pastor will also share all the resources with the club directors. Maybe the channels may not actually deliver them to the end user, but I know that the pastor has been doing that in the past years. So it's the GC for the Adventurer and the NAD for the Pathfinder. I'm not seeing any hand. I'm not seeing any, neither am I seeing any question on chat. With that, I want to believe that this marks the end of our presentation. Thank you so much, Amelia, for the powerful presentation. And yes, it was very much interested. We learned a lot. I learned a lot, and I believe everyone also learned a lot. As you were presenting, I was just jotting down some things, and one of the lines that I get to jot down is be a master of your emotions. I love that. I love that. So we mustn't carry our burdens when we are going to our kids, or carry our anger when we are going to our kids. So yeah, that's a powerful one. Having said that, I also want to thank our organizers for these presentations. That is the Pathfinder and the Adventurer conference coordinators. We have organized this one, and they've made sure that it is a success, and all the other ADCO members will make sure that these presentations, they become a success. Having said that, I don't know whether, Pastor, do you have anything to say before we close with a word of prayer?
Oh, yes. Thank you for the team working on this weekend seminars. Thank you, Mama Fori, for the good work that you have done tonight. For just an announcement for our upcoming Campori, I have a few slots that are still available for camping. If you can commit, you contact us via our email campori 2025@toc.adventist.org. We have about 200 of slots that are still there for camping. Hurry while they are still available, because if they are finished, we are not going to extend. If those 200 slots finishes, which means we are done. So don't forget, it's a late registration. It will be accompanied by a 200 rands. Thank you so much. Have a lovely night.
Thank you so much, Mfundisi. I'm going to ask Betty Kumalo to give us a closing prayer. Betty Kumalo, kindly unmute, give us a closing prayer. If Betty is not anywhere close, Mom Cynthia. Mom Lamin.
Okay, let's pray.
Thank you.
Our gracious and kindly Father, we like to thank you this evening. We like to thank your love, your grace, your mercy. Thank you, Jehovah, for providing us with these opportunities that we can meet in this manner. Thank you, Jehovah, for making sure that today, most of the places we didn't have load shedding, so that we can learn. Help us, Jehovah, as we do your work, as we work in your vineyard, as we work with children. Guide us, Jehovah. Guide our hearts, guide our speech, guide the way we do things with the children, so that, Lord, when you come, we may find glory and honor, all with our children, with our neighbors waiting for you. Bless Amelia, bless our director, bless everybody who took part in this presentation. In a wonderful name of our Lord Jesus Christ, as we are going to rest, we ask blessings of the Sabbath. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.